Hello community. Today we're gonna look at the latest from MIT Technology Review. Here, 2nd of October 2023. And we take this content of MIT research and we use here the publication from Meta and ETH Zurich about here the deep dive of the solution of an AI solution. And we have a deep dive and we will dig into the science and we will completely understand here the content of this research publication. And you know what? Understanding this completely, you, my beloved subscriber of this YouTube channel, you will improve on this. And since I'm recording this video, I will record your solution and you will find how easy it is to come up with new solution in artificial intelligence that are better than anything that has been done by thousands of research scientists by Meta or ETH Zurich, because you are creative and you understand the systems. Hey, and why not write an email to MIT Technology Review and tell them, hey, I found a better solution. Are you interested? Are you still with me? Okay, so I think it's time we start. And you better buckle up because here we go. Have you ever felt some cognitive dissonance when you talk to AI and you get an answer where you say, what? Or reading about the future of jobs with AI, you experience some digital paranoia? Have you ever been a little bit confused about the synthetic data generated by your AI system? You have experienced cybernetic surrealism? When the answer sounds absolutely technical, but absolutely surreal? In short, you experienced some reality distortion by AI, given a surreal syntax outputted by your artificial intelligence system. You feel a little bit lost? Never mind! Hello and welcome to today's video on AI hallucinations. If you ever wondered why your AI sometimes gives you some bizarre answers, you're in the right place. We delve into what are AI hallucinations, why they occur, and how to cope with them to make your AI system better. Your AI system on your local PC or in the cloud. Why we do this? 2 points are important for me. At first, it's about trust. Can you trust your AI system? Or do you have a decline in the trust due to the hallucination that appear? So we have to fix hallucination in the AI system. And also, on the other side of the spectrum, we have this digital deception. This is the act of misleading through AI-generated content. So, what can we do against this? As I told you here, this email today, MIT Technology Review, and they said the persistent problem with the AI language model is that they make things up, or in short, they hallucinate. And that it's a security and privacy disaster. In short, you cannot trust the output of your AI system. And they asked OpenAI, Google, and Meta did not reply, and OpenAI did not comment, and well, okay. So now it's up to us to find a solution. Welcome. Ben, this is for you, the introduction. What is an LLM? How is hallucination happening? And before, how is here the creation of new information happening? You know, we have a sentence, a part of a sentence. Today is. And now, as an autoaggressive large language model like GPT-4, GPT-4 calculates now the next word here, given it has the word today is. And as you can see, we calculate this with some mathematical formula in a neural network, and we got some probability densities. And as you can see, we have today is Monday, or today is the last day of something, or with a high probability, you have today is eh. So in the training data of our LLM, sentences with today is eh had a high probability. So the word eh is now added to our sentence. And now the same thing starts over again. Today is and now we calculate the next word after the word And in the training test data, there was beautiful. It could have been terrible. It could have been nice. But you see, the best probability, the highest peak we have with beautiful. So we go. today is a beautiful, and you now get it, autoregressive systems, AI systems, come up with the next word. And whenever you see this, Sunday, you say, no, this video was published on a Saturday. Hey, we encountered hallucination. Now you understand what's happening. So now let's talk about how to cope with this AI hallucination. How can we get rid of that? Of course, everything starts with some survey of the topic. And here we have a survey of hallucination in NLP from April 2022. It's a little bit old, but never mind. So if you want here a classical separation of the terms of misinformation, expose of confidential information, unrealistic expectation, and everything you can have here, have a look at the survey of hallucination in NLP. Now, to find the solution, we have here September 25th, 2023. So less than 10 days ago for me recording this video. As I told you, we have here Meta AI and ETH Zurich in Switzerland, Europe. And they say, hey, we have a chain of verification methodology, which reduces the hallucination in LLMs. And you say, wow, here we have now the latest in research, the latest in AI research by Meta AI. Thousands of scientists come up with this. And you know what? You and me together, we will have now a deep dive into this topic. So where does hallucination come from? A lot of courses, training data, the learning process, the pre-training process, the fine-tuning process of your model, the quality of your data set, incomplete training structures, contradictory information in the training data set, specific phrases that happen more often than normally in the human language, specific concepts you have not thought of and were integrated in your training literature, in your training data. Some association in the way you build up your transformer network that lead to incorrect or misleading connectome connections. You have a lot of reason. Everything leads to the root cause, factual, incorrect information by the AI, or simply nonsensical output. Great. So let's see what this ultimate research by Meta AI came up with. Here we have the results. So I have a question that I ask my GPT-4 system. Hey, tell me about the laws of thermodynamics. So this will be here my input to GPT-4 for the rest of the time here. And they said, okay, to fight here hallucination, we have 4 methodologies. Meta came up with the joint method, the two-step method, the factored method, and the factor and revised method. And you might say, wow, this sounds scientific. And yes, it is. Let's have a look at this. So what is the two-step method? Now, it's easy. Again, you remember it's always here, tell me about the laws of thermodynamics. So this is our primary question. And to have a verification, we say now to GPT-4, hey, GPT-4, generate verification question to fact check the information about, so whatever was your question, you put here your question in, here about the laws of thermodynamics. And GPT-4 generates now verification question. And since we have here 3 laws, we have now 3 questions for the 0th law, for the 1st law, for the 2nd law. So GPT-4 now generates verification questions. You just input this prompt. That's it. Having now those 3 questions, we can use these 3 questions to verify the original result by GPT-4 on my question, tell me about the laws of thermodynamics. So I go now to GPT-4 and say, hey, GPT-4, answer the following verification questions that you just came up with. So I just copy the 3 questions. I put here the 3 questions. And I say, and now GPT-4, answer this verification question. And GPT-4 comes back now the 2nd time and says, oh yeah, the 0th law is about thermo this, the 1st law is about this, and the 2nd law is about this. So you see, you have now another run with GPT-4. You hope that now in this run, no hallucination happens. you have now some additional verification questions that you ask. And if this verification questions are answered by the same machine that gives you the original output, you have now on the same machine sozusagen a proof run. So this is here the gorgeous two-step method by Meta AI in ETH Zurich. But now we increase the complexity and we go to the factored method. And you might think, my goodness, how complicated can it be? So step 1, you do as I just told you. Step 2, now you separate the question in one prompt. So you have not one prompt with 3 questions concatenated to each other, but you have one prompt and the first question, and you get an answer by GPT-4. You have the second prompt with the second question, and you get an answer by GPT-4. You see, you spread the risk. And you have the third prompt with the third question, verification question here, 1, 2, 3. And you get a separate model output of GPT-4. Are you amazed by the intellectual niveau of this scientific publication? And now to the ultimate climax of intellectual capacity, the factor plus the revised method combined. And I know you are now at the limit, but let's try this together. So first we do the thing first. Second, we do here the factored method where you have in each prompt only one question. And then you touch the Olympus. And then you go with a cross-check prompt. You say, hey, GPT-4, cross-check the answers that you have given me in step 1 and step 2 for inconsistencies with the original statement that the laws of thermodynamics are about 1, 2, 3. So all you do now is say, hey, GPT-4, additional cross-check, please. And GPT-4 will do the cross-check and will come back now in another run. So you see, we have a high probability now that in this additional run of GPT-4, you have to pay for this on Azure, yes, that now if some hallucination is happening and you have divided it now about 5, 6, 7 prompts, that it is not going to happen on the same place in each prompt. So you spread the risk and now you get a result you can trust a little bit more than just having here at the very beginning of the question, tell me about the laws of thermodynamics, and you get one answer by GPT-4. And you might say, this is it? This is a research publication? This is the latest in AI on stopping hallucination? Yes, this is the latest research of AI with Meta. And now I know what you are thinking. You are saying, hey, can we improve on this? I mean, you and me, just simple coder. And yes, there are several avenues of improvement we can use, particularly when we consider the complexity of scientific and technical domains. And you know, you work in science, I work in science, so let's do this together. What is the easiest thing you would say, hey, we can improve on Meta's hallucination topics? We have some hierarchical prompting. It is easy. Instead of just asking straightforward verification questions, I mean, GPT-4 generates those verification questions, we go now step by step and increase the complexity with each verification question. So we have a hierarchical structure where the first set of questions verify the very basic assumption of thermal equilibrium. And then we have another subset of questions to delve into more complex, more nuanced physics aspects of this question. So you increase the complexity. And wherever, when you increase the complexity, the crash happens, you know this is the limit of the system. Or instead of hierarchical prompting, what about conditional prompting? So you use some conditional logic in the prompts here to guide the model reasoning process. So if you have not a question, not what about thermal equilibrium, but if you say, hey, in quantum field theory, are quarks really considered as a fundamental particle in high energy physics today? And if so, what are their flavors? What are their characteristics according to the currently accepted and valued standard model in theoretical physics? So you see, you ask now for in-depth question to really understand if the model, if the LLM, the large language model, has here the theoretical insight and theoretical physics of the standard model, the mathematical standard model. So this is a way. And this is especially true for GPT-4. If you have an LLM that is smaller, or maybe you just trained it, or it just runs on your local PC, I don't know about this, but with GPT-4, you can ask for a confidence interval. So you say, hey, a prompt, and you ask your GPT-4 to evaluate the quality or the reliability of the GPT-4 answer. So you say, hey, GPT-4, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 to 100, whatever, how confident are you about your answer? And the funny thing is, in the training data of GPT-4, there were confidence intervals. So you can use this to get an idea about how confident GPT-4 is about this scale of confidence. It would be, however, catastrophic if exactly in this moment, when it gives you here the confidence prompting score, it would start to hallucinate. But this is fun for AI. And I know you thought about this now for some time and you said, hey, what about we increase the complexity of our improvement? We are now improving on the meta algorithm. You see how easy it is. And we say, hey, why do we do a multimodal collaboration? Because in your last video, if you look at my last video as a subscriber of this channel, yes, you noticed that we were talking about agent, AI agent, connecting LLM system, visual language system, visual language robotic system. You are a genius, you know? So we can have an ensemble verification, or we will use, and I show this, specialized model. So I think you explain this, and I will explain this. Easy. Ensemble verification is you have different LLMs somewhere, maybe on your local PC. Maybe it's a Mistral 7B model. Maybe you have access to a demo of GPT-4, or you have a demo of Claude, or you go to Google BART. Wherever you go, you choose other models, ask verification question, and compare the answer. Couldn't be more easier. And you mitigate the risk of a single model bias and error. Or, and this is what I will show you now, since we're working here in the domain of science, we can use highly specialized models. But if you're working in the domain of medicine, you can use medical models. Or if you're in art, you can use your models that are specialized in art. So we can use here domain-specific models for the verification in our specialized fields like physics, chemistry, mathematics, art, biomedical, whatever you have. And you could fine-tune these models here on the scientific literature, and I show you here an example how I do this. So here we go. We start all over again. So I have here my query. It's not tell me about, I don't know, the laws of thermodynamics or equilibrium states. I have here an abstract query, and I have here the GPT-4 system. And I input my query. And now to minimize here the hallucination by AI, by GPT-4, I can ask another multimodal model. You know, like vision combination. And how I do this? Well, I use an agent. I connect here my GPT-4 system with GPT-4 Visual, for example. And it is really a good idea to go here on multimodal systems. Because sometimes you have the information encoded in our human language, but sometimes you have it encoded in some visual interpretation, like graphs or tables, or you have some biomedical formulas or molecular visualizations. Or you just go here on your local PC, you have an LLM that you fine-tuned Mistral 7B on your specific domain on your laptop. You just have here the verification questions. You don't run it on GPT-4, but you run it here in addition on these two topics. Beautiful. You are better than Meta AI research currently. Or you say, hey, I have GPT-4. And now, since a few days, on OpenAI platform, I have here, when I click on GPT-4, I have again here Microsoft's Bing browser that is available. I'm beta, again in beta. And I can tell you from my personal experience, if you work in my domain, physics, mathematics, chemistry, Bing on this platform, I'm sorry Microsoft, forget about the performance of Bing. The implementation of Bing on OpenAI, I can't use it. And I understand that Microsoft Bing is now in direct market competition here for customers with OpenAI. I get it. And I get that they invested in OpenAI. And now both companies, OpenAI and Microsoft, are competitors on the market. But this implementation of Bing is not performant. And I know that Microsoft can do it, because if I go to Microsoft's browser and in Microsoft's original browser I use Bing, Bing is better than in this implementation here on the OpenAI, on its competitor platform. So, yeah, okay, Microsoft. So what to do instead? Easy. Go with WebPilot. I don't know if this is the best one. It works for me. It does all the things I need when I connect GPT-4 to the internet. WebPilot is currently in my domain. It works. Simply, plain, it works. So simply, you go to the internet and you validate here your validation questions here on an independent source on the internet, and you have here maybe also the sources of the internet, and you judge if you trust them or not. So you see, this is here the second option if we use here an ensemble of AI models. Or, you remember, I told you a specialized system. And here, this is now what I personally use here in my science work. I have now an SBERT system, a sentence transformer system. This is a local system I have here. I have more than 800 archive preprint, so pre-publications here in theoretical physics, in astrophysics, in high energy physics. And I have here an SBERT system, and about every week and every weekend on the evening of Sunday to Monday, I fine-tune the system with new data. And if you want how to do this, how to pre-train, how to build it up SBERT, I have here this video where you pre-train BERT to become a sentence BERT, an SBERT system, an extreme system here. I have here the complete code. You can follow along, you can build your own system. And you know, it's so much better than just a vector database or a vector store or whatever, because it is here an AI system. But you know what? It is a specialized AI system that is not an autoregressive system like GPT-4. Now, important, we're talking about specialized validation system. So, short summary, you know that GPT-4 is an autoregressive model based on the transformer architecture. So GPT-4 generates the text, as I showed you, one token at a time. I showed you one word at a time, but with sub-word token, it's the same. And this token generation is conditioned on the preceding tokens. And remember the sentence? This is a beautiful Sunday. So the preceding token, define here the following token. This is here GPT-4, but I need here for the validation a different system. I need here a sentence transformer system, an SBERT system, where I have a complete sentence embedding. So I take a complete sentence in the scientific literature with my specific content, with the semantic information in the sentence, and I encode the complete sentence. And the beauty is, if I have, I don't know, 10 million sentences about a domain-specific knowledge, each sentence will be embedded in a vector space. So I can have a simple mathematical operation in the vector space to compare now semantic topics. I do a topic clustering. I say, hey, I have 10 million sentences. I'm looking for one specific subtopic of quantum field theory for a particular elementary particle. give me the top 10 or top 100 sentences from more than 800 publications. And it picks out exactly those sentence embedding because I have trained this SBERT system continuously. So this is a specialized system, generates embedding for entire sentences, but as I showed you, I have more than 50 videos about how to pre-train and fine-tune SBERT system on this channel. You cannot go with sentences, you can go with paragraphs, you can go with complete pages of text, or you can even encode images. So this is not a generation of text, autoregressive like GPT-4, but this is, I have here the information in books, in presentations. I have PDF files of scientific literature. And I encode this information that is already available, and I check now my new answer from GPT-4 against the existing scientific literature. You see, this is a different system. It is also an AI, it is also a transformer system, but since I'm operating here in a different vector space, where I have some embedding of my sentences, it is so much easier to perform now mathematical semantic comparison or a topic clustering of the topics here. Okay, great. Wow, so you see, in summary, my query, GPT-4, I use some agents. I connect to another multimodal system. I connect to my local little Mistral system. I can go with GPT-4 and do an internet verification here with WebPilot, or if I really want to be sure, I did not miss out anything in the scientific literature. I do not have to go and do a keyword search, and I have to pay thousands of dollars per year to have access to some specialized databases. No, I built my own sentence transformer system with, if you want, thousands of your domain-specific literature. Physics, chemistry, architecture, art, whatever is your topic. You train this system and then you can simply here compare now the answer generated by GPT-4 with this new system, with your scientific literature system. So you use an ensemble of models and you use an ensemble of specialized models, where you have now an AI system that creates single words, and you have now the comparison to existing context, text from your trusted sources, could be newspapers, could be videos, whatever you have, or scientific publications. And this is now gives you now the power to really reduce here AI hallucinations in a significant way. So you see what we achieved? We came up with our own ideas. We surclassed here a meta AI idea. We built here a new system integrating our ideas that we know of, since you're a subscriber of this channel, about the use of agent, the use of multimodal LLMs, the use of local LLMs on your local PC, internet verification, and other AI systems, an ensemble of specialized models. They all work together and generate here a heavily reduced AI hallucination answer. Great! This was it for today. I hope you enjoyed it the way I enjoyed it. And please trust yourself, trust your creativity, be imaginative, and AI can be the absolute fascination for your professional career. Would be great to see you in my next video.